It is halftime in Phoenix. What an exciting first half from the Suns and the Kings. The Kings with a 3-point lead, 67-64. Jerry Reynolds will be joining the show here in just a few minutes to talk about the first half and what we saw. What a bizarre first half. At one point, four Kings had 56 of their 58 points late into the second quarter, something you don't always see. And then Domantas Sabonis, how about him? 19 points. Are you kidding me with this stat line? 8 assists, 6 rebounds. De'Aaron Fox shows up on the same night as Sabonis. This is the Fox the Kings have been looking for. I still think there's some room for growth here in the second half, but De'Aaron Fox finishes the first half with 17 points, 7 of 14 from the field. Kevin Huerter chips in 10. And then what about Malik Monk? Reggie Miller said it during the telecast. He said the leading candidate for sixth man of the year. No arguing with that tonight. Malik Monk, 16 points off the bench in 15 minutes. But that, believe it or not, was not the best bench performance of the first half. That is left to Eric Gordon of the Phoenix Suns. Talk about turning back the hands of time. He finishes with 20 points. Bradley Beal left the game in the first half with a hamstring injury. He will not return. Significant blow to Phoenix. They were really catching their stride. And granted, they're not playing bad tonight. This has been a very, very fun basketball game. Again, this is the halftime show on If You Don't Like That. Kings Suns. Kings lead 67-64. Shortly, I will be joined by Jerry Reynolds. I am Ryan in Sacktown. We appreciate all of you being here. Kings, 57.8 from the field in that first half. Great shooting. 6 of 18 from behind the three-point line. 33%. Leaves a little bit to be desired, but I have no complaints, especially when you have Sabonis playing as well as he is right now. As I said, we bring in Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, let me change this screen up. You have to be at least half of the screen here. Come on now.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go. How you doing?
Good. Really a fun half. Obviously, great shooting. I mean, there's terrific shot making. Now, obviously, some of those shots are pretty easy, but if you love offense, and I like it a lot. I mean, this is a great half, but we'll see. I did think, Ryan, it's interesting that, Mike Brown's really out pressing the ball at half, taking some chances defensively.
Yeah.
Obviously, you give up some things on the other end, but I think it's better than just sitting back and letting Durant and those guys pick you apart.
Yeah, I think you saw in that first half, Jerry, great point, by the way, Durant was killing the Kings from the mid-range, and that's where the Suns did a lot of their damage there in the first half. So why not push the pressure a little bit and push that tempo as opposed to isolation ball? So Domantas Sabonis, Jerry, can you put into some type of historical context what Kings fans are watching right now?
Well, they're watching the very best center in the history of the entire franchise, going back to the Rochester Royals. I can tell you, I've seen them all, not in Rochester, but in Cincinnati and Kansas City. He is, he's just the best. I mean, and really, he's certainly one of the 3 or 4 best in the world currently. And honestly, he's playing probably better right now in the last, say, 10 games than he's ever played in his life. I mean, the statistics, he's filling
through the roof.
Yeah. And basically making his teammates better. His stamina is just remarkable. I don't know that I've never seen a big player play as hard and consistently as he does. Never.
That's saying something right there. That is saying something. Kings with a 3-point lead in a very exciting first half, 67-64. Jerry, I've been critical of De'Aaron Fox. A lot of people looking for him to show up. He had a pretty good first half. Thoughts on him?
Yeah, that was the De'Aaron Fox that we want to see, and we saw most of the early part of the season. And I thought he came out very aggressive, very focused. And, and I think, honestly, his play was so good that it carried over to Malik Monk, who was truly the monkster there in that first
Yes.
half. And so, great guard play though. I mean, I think Herder was outstanding as well. So you got great production from all three guards.
Yeah, at one point, Jerry, four Kings had 56 of the Kings' 58 points. So pretty remarkable. So the Kings up 67-64. That's Jerry Reynolds. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. This is If You Don't Like That, the halftime show. Do us a favor if you haven't already. Please subscribe to Grant's YouTube channel. We would really appreciate that. That's where all of our live programming's at, exclusive rant shows, etc. Go check that out. But Jerry, a lot to be happy with if you're Mike Brown. I mean, you do give up 64 points in the first half defensively. We talked about the Kings pushing pace, but what do they need to do in the second half to really tighten things up on the Suns?
I think pretty much what they're doing. I mean, I think they've got to keep ball pressure. Try to keep the ball from getting in the hands of Booker and Durant where they can play one-on-one. I think if some of the Royce O'Neal or some of the other guys get open shots, that's not so bad. But and take care of the ball. Take care of the ball. Make your free throws. Continue to play inside out, unless you're in transition with an open three. Anytime, I think if they get back and stop transition, play through Sabonis. Try to go inside out to get the spot shots. In other words, just so much easier when the ball's being kicked out and you got your feet set looking at the basket.
No doubt. And the Kings with 15 assists in that first half, only 6 turnovers. Hopefully they can get some more of those wide open looks here in the second half. Kings leading by 3 at halftime on the Phoenix Suns. Quite frankly, a game, Jerry, that the Kings, if you look at this 3-game road trip, they don't get this one. It's going to be tough sledding tomorrow night in Denver.
Oh boy, no question about it. And Denver just got tattooed last night in Milwaukee, and so and they'd been tattooed by the Kings. So the Kings are going to see the Denver Nuggets waiting and a little snarly. Mike Malone is going to bring them up. So they're going to have to bring their A game tonight for sure to get a win against a very much improved Phoenix team as we've seen the last month, and then of course Denver. So, but that's the West. There's just no breaks this year in the West. I thought the broadcast team did a great job pointing out that the Kings actually have a better record at the same stage than last year, but instead of being third, they're seventh. And that really is all based on the fact that the West is so much better than it was last year.
Yeah, I thought Ian Eagle and Reggie did an excellent job in the first half. I think Ian pointed that out early in the telecast and even talked about the NBA improving as a whole offensively. So good job by them. Looking forward to more of that here in the second half. Kings lead 67-64. Jerry, for the most part, Durant wasn't too bad. He scores 13. Booker chips in. He was relatively quiet for Devin Booker, I should say. He only gets 5 points in that first half. But Eric Gordon, 20 points. Grayson Allen, 12 points. How can the Kings put a stop to some of the role players that are hurting them right now in this game?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I don't know because, both those guys, certainly Gordon had been a star in this league, and now he's just asked to come in and make shots, which he's doing. I still think you've really got to make it tough on Durant and Booker to win. I think Grayson Allen is Grayson Allen. The guy is one of the most underrated players in the league. He's shooting 49% from three, basically 50 plus from two, and never takes a bad shot. And so, he feeds off of those other guys. But I think, to beat these guys, and I thought they did a good job on both those guys in the first half, Durant and Booker. Durant he had to take some tough and make some very difficult shots. And that's really all you can do with those kind of guys. And I think, like you say, I think if I had anything, would just be aware that you need to rotate faster to Eric Gordon.
Yes.
He's got it going now. And,
yes,
he's really a better pure shooter than Bradley Beal always has been. So they really did lose. You just go back to look at the numbers through the years. So, but he's had even more injuries.
Yeah. Yeah, he never really got that true shot, though, that Bradley Beal shot to be the star of a franchise. He
No.
always felt like that sixth man, second, third option, but he's a hell of a player, Jared.
Well, when he was drafted 7th by the Clippers, and he was well on his. I mean, it looked like he was a lead pipe all-star 20 times, kind of a Mitch Richmond type, and then got, immediately, I think right in his first year, had a knee surgery. And so, it's one of those deals to where, because he was a top 5 high school All-American and all that. So there was stardom on him, but then 2 or 3 knee surgeries. It takes a little bit of that away, and he had those early.
Yeah, that's actually the fact that he's had the career he's had coming back early. That says a lot. And quite frankly, Jerry, he was a guy last year at the trade deadline. He went to the Clippers for not very much. And, Houston was looking to get rid of him. I thought he could have been a good fit here in Sacramento.
Well, he can, like I say, he can score. And I mean, he had a chance to kind of pick where he wanted to go, I think. And that's what he did, and took less money because he thought, kind of resurrect his career a little bit. And yeah, he's just one of those guys that, like quite a few guys that are just at this stage of their career, they can really play in limited roles and, get with certain teams and they'll flourish. And certainly he is.
He is indeed. Hey, I'm not going to lie. Jerry and I had an amazing lunch today at Bennett's with Grant and Grant's friend, who is actually a major league umpire, Brian Knight. And it was an awesome time. Jerry, Grant, and I went redfish. Jerry, how was the redfish?
Oh, it's great. It really was great. I know, I'd almost getting tired of hearing Grant say how good it was.
Right?
So I thought I'd try it. And darn if he wasn't right, I mean, and so it was really good. And of course, Brian, was really fun to obviously be with you and Grant, but really interesting to be with the major league umpire and visit. I've met with him a few times, but such a neat guy, and really be following his career.
Yeah, very incredible guy. It was a fun lunch, and yes, I'm so glad we didn't oversell the redfish, by the way. So that worked out well, I guess.
No, I'll be eating some redfish over there again. I tell you what, it won't end with the one time.
I love it. So I didn't even finish the live read. So go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com for more information. We love them. 3 locations in Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. So, all right, Jerry, Kings up 3 at halftime, 67-64. What's your prediction for the second half and your final score?
I think Kings win 130-129. How's that?
130-129. Does this kind of have a feel of an overtime game, maybe?
Oh, very possible. I don't think either team can get away from the other. And so, the shot making seems on track. I think the only thing that could derail it for either team is if they really start turning the ball over. I think at the pace they're playing, as long as they take care of the ball, there's going to be a lot of scoring opportunities. So, and if you're the Kings, obviously you'd like to force even more turnovers from the Suns.
It's a great point. The Kings have done very well in their last 11 games when they're stealing the ball, forcing turnovers. So Jerry's going with a 1-point win. What do you guys have? We'll try to get a couple of these scores up really quick if you want to throw them in. I think the Kings win this game as well. I like the particulars, Jerry. I don't think there's an answer for Sabonis. I think Fox has the outside game going. Like to see him go a little bit more to the rim. But the Kings are shooting their free throws well tonight. So if this comes down to a close game and that continues, I think they win as well.
Let's hope.
Yes, indeed. Well, either way, if they win or lose, we will be right back here after the game on If You Don't Like That. Enjoy the second half. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you again for coming to lunch today. I had a great time.
Well, thank you, man. That was a blast. So that's been the highlight of my day until this ball game. But I'm hoping this tops it. But yeah, great time.
There you go. Indeed. Well, to all you, enjoy the second half. We will see you after the game. So long.